Okay, we start off. There's the character. I'm not going to do hands or feet because my character doesn't have feet and his hands are going to be separate. And most of the time, my character won't have anything else but just the front of the chest and the head. So let's create a checkered map. Assign it. A lot of people ask me, why does some of my model look checkered and the rest is white? It just means it's not unwrapped properly. If you see checkered everywhere, it doesn't mean it's still unwrapped properly. It's better than your normal standard white shade. So let's just assign it, check it. I'm going to set it about tiling 30-30. Like mine, at first glance looks okay, but you can see it's stretching all the way around the sides. If you're going to do this character, do what I do. Kill the symmetry, do one half, because an arm is an arm and a leg is a leg. Unless he's distinctly different on one at the side. The only thing that I will make it asymmetrical is I want the head to not be perfect both sides, so I'm going to actually literally unwrap the head as one piece. But for now, unwrap everything separately. Add an unwrap UVW. Please ignore the seams that it gives you. Go all the way to the bottom where it says configure and show turn off map seams. Go to edges, drop down the plus sign, go to edge, go to your peel options over there, and you want to go point to point seams. Some seams are very easy to actually get a grasp of. Look at your pants, look at your top, where is the seam? If you don't know what a seam is where do they stitch it together? Because everything is cut from a pattern and then stitched together. That is where your seam will be on your character if he's wearing pants or a top. In this case, God shrink wrapped us, so we don't really have seams. So we have to make our own seams. I'm going to go around the arm. Just go all the way around. Remember, it has to start and start in the same place. Just go all the way around. Back to there. And then I'm going to cut it down the inside because it's the least obvious area to see a seam. So now we've decided the arm is going to be cut down there, and we're going to flatten it out. Then we're going to do the same with the torso. I like to start it just below the belly button. So around there, all the way around. And then the leg, once again, on the inside. So start from the inside, wherever the seam, in this case he's got pants, so I would actually create my seam straight in the pants, where the seam would be on the pants. But we're doing the body. There we go. And what I'm going to do for this side is, I find that a big area to have a seam, so I'm going to put the seam literally hiding on the shoulder and we can paint it out. But let's dissect the head first. Bring the seam along here, there, all the way around to the back. The head is the hardest thing to unwrap ever, so please don't beat yourself up if it takes you a couple of times. And you will never get the checks perfectly straight. Okay. What I like to do is I keep the ear in one piece, but it's very tricky to keep it in one piece. That's the only downside. Because we can bring it, I try to bring the seam all the way as close as possible behind the ear, so you can't see it. But unfortunately, you're going to have to detach the ear at some stage. Once again, go to the back and see where we need to connect it. And just go back to the beginning. And we also need to create a seam for the little ear hole over here, because that is too far in there. It needs to actually be flattened out properly. Well, not properly. It's just going to use up a lot of unnecessary space. So we're going to just cut it out. Then I'm going to bring the seam somewhere in here. It doesn't really make a difference where the seam goes, because it's going to be pretty dark in there. So I'm just creating a rough seam to go all the way around. No, that's actually fine the way it is. Now we're cutting out the ear. We need to cut out the inside mouth pocket. And probably we're going to have to cut out the lips separately. So we will first cut out the inside mouth pocket, this piece that overlaps, because once again that doesn't need that much texture space, or it's actually not that important. There we go. Only problem is if we flatten the head out right now, it will really distort quite badly. So try to put a seam under where the hair would hide it. So in this case, let's say the hair is going to end up there. And generally under the jawline is a pretty good place to stick it. So I like to start from underneath there. And I know I've said it before, I did go hang around with the taxidermists for a week. It came in very handy. Gross, but handy. Because they generally have a decent way of hiding seams. Okay, so I'm going to grab the arm, any of the polys, just switch from edge to polygon, select any of the polys. Under your peel options, there is expand polygon selection to seams. It's right over here. Click on it. If you've done it right, it will end on just the arm. Then you click on the pelt option. It's literally above it. Click the pelt, click start, and done. Move it over. Most programs only have the pelt option to unwrap. The problem is it distorts a lot, and I mean quite a bit in certain areas. In some areas it looks perfectly square, then you can see it starts distorting around. That's not acceptable. Not in my book. I don't care what anyone else says. The pelt is a good starting point. Click commit, and there you got the torso. Just move it out of the way. Don't worry about laying it out. Expand selection, pelt, start pelt, wait for it to work its kinks out, commit. There we go. Now we got 3 of them, and unfortunately you can really see it on their leg. It's not perfect. It's stretching, it looks ugly. So we're going to relax it. Because the relax tool is the best tool ever for unwrapping. Let's grab the arm. Go to tools, relax. You can do it by edge or by polygon. Polygon makes it at least retain its size of each polygon, which helps with retaining the squareness, the perfect squareness of your chicken. So you click OK, let it do its thing. You can see it's still slightly moving, and then you can rotate it straight, or as straight as you can, because unfortunately unwrapping makes things very weird shapes. There you go, perfectly check it all the way around. As you can see, there's your seam. Can't hide it. You will be able to paint it out though, so just make sure it's unwrapped nicely. That's what that counts. Let's grab the torso, and let's just do the torso now, and relax it again. So grab that, go to your tools, relax, by polygon, go away, and start. Just click start, let it, you can see it's trying to work itself out. This looks like an issue down here, so we're just going to quickly try to, if you have issues, just grab that area, and do just the area on its own, and then zoom in and see if everything still looks fine. Check it everywhere, there we go, and now you go to the legs. Grab the legs, grab it over there. Just make sure you select the whole leg. So there's a little checkbox if you have select by element UV toggle. Just turn that on. It'll just literally select each piece that you've unwrapped separately. So select that one, click start, and let it work itself until it eventually stops. There we go. And now straighten that out, whatever you need it to do. Same as with this part, you can straighten. If you don't know what's going on in your unwrap, figure it out. This is the chest area, this is the side, this is the back. Okay. And now you can go look at the legs. Perfect checkers. Just rotate and look all the way around. Okay, now we're going to do the ear. The ear, very rarely will you ever get it perfect, because I'm trying to do it in one fell swoop where it wraps all the way around. You might have to unfortunately cut it. Yeah, somewhere that goes hides a seam. So let's say you want to hide a seam in there. You need to actually sit and cut it. Let's do that anyway, because we know it's going to give us hassles. So let's go and add a seam, go to edge, point to point. I'm going to start one from over, let's see, we can start over there. Bring it all the way up here. I'm going to bring it to about over there and connect it to there. That's all the seam I'm really going to create. Select the ear, expand selection again, pelt, and start. Click commit, it's done. We're going to try and relax it as best as we can. I know the ear will break if I try to relax it too much. So I'm going to set it to, instead of 0.1, 0.01. By polygon, click start. Leave it there and see what it looks like. It's not too bad. I'm going to have some stretching in the corner of the ear again, which is right over there. So we're going to try and do what I did before. Go into vertex mode, or edge, whatever you want. Stop trying to make it bigger. Okay. And then grab vertex, and you can see the issues over here is that they're overlapping. You don't want that, so just select there and there. Just try to select a line. Click start. The same as over here, it should not be overlapping. Just remember, lines should not be intersecting or crossing over each other. It will cause issues. It's not too bad. This is a problem. That's an open area. That should not be overlapping that one at all. So let's just grab a whole bunch of these and see if we can do all of it together. Just relax it. And then once again, check in the area, see if everything looks fine. It seems to be fine. I'm going to try grab this whole top bit because it looks like it's stretching a little bit. It's not the end of the world if the ear stretches. It's not that important. Well, it's important, but not that crucial. Grand scheme of things. There we go. Check the back. Not that important. There we go. Done. Okay. And now we're going to grab the rest of the head. Let me close this. And grab the head. Just literally click on the head. Expand selection. Count. I'm not going to worry about spending too much time making this one perfect because I need to do both sides of the face. This is just a basic relax and unwrap. Okay. And then we need to do the inside of the mouth. Expand selection. Out. Start. And now we need to relax both this one and this one. So we can relax them both at the same time, or one at a time, whatever works for you. Go to your relax tool and click start. And stop. As you can tell, the squares are actually pretty decent. The problem areas that are generally quite big problem areas are lips and nose. And I think these eyes are going to cause an issue, and they are. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Actually, let's fix it right now. Let's go and fix this eye because they're intersecting too much. So let's grab this row over here and do one row at a time. That way we know what's going on. Click relax. Here's the issue. You can see that these are going through. If you can't see it, literally that line is crossing the other three lines. That's wrong. That's bad. That's not good. Just look at your mesh and see, okay, there it is. That one's actually correcting itself quite nicely. Grab the corner. As you can see, it's growing through each other. Just manually move it out. You need some texture spaced in order to texture on it. Otherwise, then you have nothing, which is never a good idea. These are actually pretty fine. It's just this corner area that's going to cause issues. I think I might have to manually do it, and I do. The green is the outer edges. So start with the green, work your way out. Start making the borders. You can see this one's too far in. That creates that border. That creates that. Just keep an eye on what's going on in the actual mesh all the time. That's why I keep it open. And let's check the nose. Okay, the nose, I didn't detach the nose. There's a little piece of mesh in there, and it's just sitting there. It's right over here underneath it. You can't really have that. So I'm going to grab the inside pieces. There's a plus and minus sign over here. Plus keeps growing it. Minus negative makes it negative. So I'm going to just quickly detach that. So I'm going to go to my tools, break it, and remove it. Click start, and just relax it. Now we've got a nice, neat, little clean hole. And here's the big problem. As you can see, the mouth is breaking very badly. We're going to have to detach those lips on there. We can't avoid it. So for now, I am going to truly just leave it. Because I think for now that is all good. Except for one problem is that these checkers are not equal one-to-one all over the mesh. So grab your entire mesh. There is under the arrange tab down here is the little icon that looks like couple of boxes stacked on top of each other. Rescale elements, make it one-to-one, and then I'm going to pack it. Automatically pack it because for now all I'm going to do is pack it and flip the face, and that's about it. Okay, so I'm going to pack UVs, recursive, set it to 0.01 instead of 2, rotate and fill. Rotate cluster means you'll be able to rotate your mesh inside the unwrap, and fill holes means if there's a hole like where we cut out the ear, we'll be able to put stuff in. And you click OK. Go to poly. I think I've seen a little bit of dirtiness in the eye. I don't know where it's coming from. Looks like floating polys. Just clean them up because they look very weird. I don't know where they came from. But it's nice to delete them. There we go. Okay. And there we go. You've got it perfectly unwrapped from head to toe. All the way through. Unfortunately, seams are hard. So place seams where you can hide them. Whether it's a seam in the clothes or seam, if it's a body, you can't avoid it. You just have to paint it out. Click on symmetry, flip it. All I'm going to do is the head now. Okay. So I'm going to convert it to a poly again. Put an unwrap UVW. That is where my head is. So I'm going to go and open it. The cool thing about the symmetry is it will share texture space. So that means you will only have to texture one leg, and the other one will be literally underneath it. You can see it. There's both legs on top of each other, both arms on top of each other, the chest on top of each other. I'm going to grab both of the faces, rotate them so it's looking up at me so I can see what I'm doing. And then I have to decide which is on the left side, which is on the right side. So just select one, that's on the left. That's on the right, go to tools, and flip horizontal. And now we're going to have to attach these down the middle and make it into one mesh so I can have different things happening on different sides of the head so it doesn't make it perfectly 3D. Okay, so now we're going to grab it. Let's attach the seam down the middle. We'll start off first of all with this part of the face. And click stitch. Stitches it. And now I'm going to relax it a little bit to see what we can do with it. By polygon angles, go away and start. Just let it relax. It's not too bad. We're getting a lot of eating in here. It's eating itself too much in there, so I'm going to quickly try use by edge angle. So instead of polygon, go by edge. Okay, we'll have to actually go and manually try and tweak this. So I'm going to go back to polygon, let it push itself out. And now we're going to fix the obvious issues. First of all, I want this mouth connected down to the middle. So we're going to double click on that. It'll grab an open edge loop, and that's what it exactly does. I'm going to move this over, go to tools, go stitch selected. Now it's stitched down the bottom of the mouth. Let's go relax again, and start relaxing. The lips are broken, the eyes are broken again, but the rest of the face seems to be doing okay. I'm going to just make the grid smaller again on my checkered, so instead of 30 I'm going to make it like 80. Because I'd rather have smaller checkered and see where is it stretching on the face than anything else. Stretching along the nose, which is unfortunately something you can't totally avoid. So let's go and fix the issues. First of all, that should not be going into the mesh, so let's go and repair the bottom piece. There's multiple ways to do it. You can actually go and select this area over here, drag select, detach it and reattach it again, which is probably exactly what we're going to do. Sorry, too far. Grab it. And there's one more down the middle here. And I'm going to literally break it off, break, shift it across. The same thing on the other side. Please don't learn to unwrap properly. I know very few people actually know how. It's very important. So rather try to do it properly then. So there we go. I'm going to grab both of these sides and relax them both at the same time. And then retouch it again. This time I might attach it a little bit. Instead of going all the way around, I'm going to attach it over there. Just deselect that. That's fine. Double click again. Thank you. Now I'm going to stitch selected. Tools, stitch selected. It'll force it to stitch there. Or you can manually go and actually weld it if you're afraid. Like in this case, I don't want it to go through. So let's just shift it into place. And you can target weld it. Same as you would do anything else. Just tools. You go target weld. Just weld. All the way until the area you want it to stop, which is just by the jawline. Don't worry about the stretching. I'm going to relax it a little bit after it's done. If you want, you can connect it all the way straight down the middle. So you can go and do that. Don't worry if you don't know where the vert goes. It distinctly tells you that one. So you don't even have to try and guess where it goes. It knows where to go. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm not even going to bother bringing it close because I'm going to relax it. The same there. There is no exact science to unwrapping the head. Find the best way and stick with it. Whatever's got the least amount of stretching. Just try to avoid making it into 6-minute pieces because that's just a headache. Clothes are easy. Body's a little bit is easier. Head is tricky. Hand is tricky because the hand is just the top and the bottom, but you're going to get so many stretching issues. It's scary. Now let's go do it again. Grab the whole head. Just select the whole thing, relax it. And now I'm going to relax it even less. I'm going to go by polygon. I'm going to set to 0, 1. Start. big crucial area is that nothing stretches a lot of the area we just had. The nose is still going to be an issue. You can't, unfortunately. Now let's go fix issues. That didn't particularly target weld very well, did it? So let's go and select the target weld. There's all shortcuts next to them. I'm not going to use the shortcuts for now. And once again, the nose is broken, the lips are broken. Let's just detach the lips altogether. They're going to cause issues, so we might as well just go and fix them now. Grab any of it. I'm going to grab the inside row of lips because we're just going to click row. So let's click on that row. Just close everything else so we have area to work with. Go all the way around. It's that annoying one in the corner that is hiding from me. All the way to the other side as well. Now click row. There's a plus and minus again. I'm going to grab the entire lip area and break it off. Literally go to tools and say break off. So go tools and break. Get it out of the way. Just move everything that's lip related out of the way. Now we can try relax this again because now there's no more lips. It might be able to relax a little bit better. Relax is your favorite tool. It will be your favorite tool. Now let's go and fix the common areas that generally in the corner of the mouth it will break because it's just so much detail in the corner that it tries to squash everything together. So we're going to grab just this little white in the corner, click start, and if it doesn't work, manually fix it. Same as in this corner, manually fix it because we know it's not going to work. Nose is broken. Grab the whole nose area, and hopefully you can just grab the whole nose. Not so much. Okay. The reason why it's breaking is this should not be wherever it thinks it is. It should be open. This is a nostril. So just grab this area. Let's try to do one bit at a time. I'm going to try by edge before I do anything else. Grab the whole nose and try by edge again. Just grab this tip before it doesn't do anything. Just deselect this. Okay, that seemed to be a little bit better than the other one. And that's why I can see why we had a lot of stretching. Okay, at least now we've got less stretching. Now I'm going to try to do a polygon because it will keep the difference between polygon and edges. It will try to keep the edges as straight as it originally was. Polygon will try to keep the polygons the size they were originally. So generally I like to combine a little bit of both, just a wee bit. And I'm trying to grow it outwards a little bit. I would click grow, but I want to select manually, and the eyes are entirely broken. You can't use these eyes the way they are. Start with one edge, and then I'm going to move them slightly over. It's a mess. Sometimes the only way to fix a mess is just to manually grab it and try to fix it. Grab this little piece in the middle, that seems to be the problem area. And once again we have the overlapping verts. Just go and try to tweak them as best as you can. You don't want to see the thing is you don't want these to be going under. What it's trying to do right now, if it lets me select it, is that it's trying to force it to go under. Just try to keep it above at all times. Even if it's just a little bit, it's better than having no texture space in the corner. Once again, this is going to cause an issue. Let's try to do it all again in one go. Just keep clicking until it decides to do something. Click start. There we go, it's getting better. This one is too close again. Just give it a bit of space. And we know this is not working, so manually go and shift it back into place. There we go. Just try to figure out which side of the green goes where. Let me see if I can relax it. No, it breaks. So we're gonna have to stick to doing it manually. Go. Start shifting. Please don't have the green too close to each other. I like to pack it tight, but that might be a little too tight. So if you're trying to texture something in there, it will cause issues. Now we're gonna have to fix the other eye. It's time consuming, but it's worth it if you get it right. And then we got this one doing its own thing. Grab it all again. And just start shifting it around. You will know after a while what's going through because this is distinctly crossing through the line, so you don't want that to happen. You want them to have space to breathe, so you can actually texture it. So just slightly shift it. Same over here. See, it's broken. Once again, the end is bad. So just click start. See if you can fix anything. Grab this one. Now we need to fix this major one that's overlapping over everything. And once again, go in and grab the start of the green and work your way back until you get everything that resembles a ramp. So crossing over, so just start bringing it properly down. Bring this one down. Just start separating them so they never cross over each other. You don't want them to cross. It'll just create ugly seams. Just see if you haven't screwed everything up in the mesh while you're doing this, because it can easily happen. Start spacing it. Just give it some, not amazing amount of space because you don't want it to stretch, but you want some area to be able to breathe. Just go to the other side here. As you can see that the open edge doesn't know what to do, so there is a keep boundaries, but you don't always want to keep the boundary. And now we need to fix the lips because those are broken. Click start. Once again, let's try by edge, see if that works. And then by polygon. Actually, we don't have a bad lips. It's just, once again, the corners become an issue, so you have to manually go in, grab the corners, and start fixing them. Don't worry, it gets very confusing after a while, but you will eventually figure out what's what after shifting things around for a while. Let's try to do this again. And break it, so we will entirely avoid relaxing this corner of the mouth, and hopefully by doing it this way we get it. You will shift things around and realize what's what. You have to, otherwise you'll never understand unwrapping, and it's actually very crucial to texturing to have a decent unwrap. Yes, you can texture in Mudbox, but it's not always the best route to go. Okay, I'm going to leave everything else. All I want to do and keep on this is I want to texture the head, so I'm going to convert to a poly and just delete everything else that I don't want. Keep just the head, or just detach it, not delete it. Click grow, just deselect the spot quicker. Trying to figure out what's going on. That's fine. There we go. I'm just going to click detach. There it is. Call it head. And I'm going to hide everything else. Now, before you take it to Mudbox and ZBrush, most of your meshes have been shifted and manipulated so much that you're going to have to reset Xform and everything on your meshes. Please do that, otherwise you're going to have issues. Go to your hierarchy tab, effect pivot, make sure the center goes dead center to the pivot. Please make sure your meshes are perfectly centered in Max. Otherwise, it's not going to work symmetry-wise in Mudbox or ZBrush. Okay. ZBrush better than than Mudbox, but Mudbox is very angry. Okay, so now I've centered the pivot. Go to your hierarchy tab, reset Xform, then convert it to a poly. And now this mesh is basically clean again, and less hassles will happen. Okay, there we go. I think I made it too big. Just get rid of the bit. Okay, and now we're going to literally render it out to unwrap it in Photoshop. So go unwrap UVW, open UV editor, and now we need to pack this. So I'm going to grab all of it and just automatic pack again, and then work out from there if I like the unwrap or not. Rotate clusters, fill holes, that would be fine. I'm going to turn off the check-in for now so we can actually see what's going on. This is one texture that you can't avoid on wasting space because it comes out the shape it does. What I like to do is generally just grab the main part of the head and then work everything else around it. So I'm going to grab this piece, see if I can fit this in. See if it fits in either end. You don't want it to go outside of the black border, the dark gray border, because then you lose your texture space. So just trying to make it fit in slightly, and then I like to keep it in the middle. If I'm going to waste space, I might as well waste space properly. Then that is the top of the ear bottom. I've got a hole in my mesh apparently, or a piece that's missing. Oh no, it's the inside of the hole, don't worry. And now I'm going to keep these the same, so I can just copy and paste the ear right on the top or on the side, wherever you want. I'm going to keep it at the top. Then we're going to grab the lips, put them just over here. It's such a perfect fit. The rest is not actually that relevant. Place them anywhere. Most of it is junk. It's just the nose, the nostrils, things that don't require that much texture space, but you can just fill the area with them. And there's one more. Place that there. I'm going to render UVW template now. Tools, render UVW template. It's a guide from Photoshop to give you an idea of what your mesh looks like. I'm going to go 4960. If I was going to do this as a final, I'd go even higher. But for the head, 4960 is more than enough. Click render UVW template, and then save it out. I'm going to call it head guides, and save it as a targa. It doesn't need to have alpha information. It can even be a JPEG if you want. It's up to you. Then I'm going to convert it to a polygon. Go. Now let's just create a quick. I'm not going to create a skin shader. All I'm going to do is just put a standard material, call it skin for now, and that is actually about it. I'm not going to do anything special to it. I'm going to just put a turbo smooth on so everything's not so bucky. And now we're going to start unwrapping it. Let's go to Photoshop. Unwrapping, texturing it. I'm not going to texture the whole head because that can take a while. I'm going to start laying out UV. I don't texture from scratch. Okay, why is my wake up not working? I love it. Things break all the time. Maybe if I just plug it back in. Because I don't want to do this experience without a wake up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to open my file. Open the guides. Double click in the background layer, call it guides. Just in case you wanted to come up with a name, call it whatever you want. I'm not going to call it hair guides for the final. I'm going to call it D for the diffuse or C for color, and raw because it's a Photoshop file. Okay. I'm going to create a new layer. Sorry, I'm not going to run through how to use Photoshop because, well, hopefully somebody else is doing that. Because I think your poor brains have to grasp too much shit as it is. So let's just try to stick to the simple things. Okay, bring it down. The guide on top has to be set to a screen, otherwise you won't be able to see anything underneath it. I work with real textures. I don't sit there and paint pore by pore. I'm not Naughty Dog and I don't have 6 months to do a character. So I work realistic and I just grab textures from the real world. So I grab my textures. I have 3 guys that I've downloaded from 3DSK. There's Lada, Miro, and Rudy. Rudy's got too much facial hair. And if you're going to do gaming characters, please add the hair in the texture. It'll save you a lot of headaches. But I'm going to use Lada. He's pretty decent. I'm going to start off with the eye and the mouth. Or the forehead, whichever way I want to work it. I'm going to copy this one, leave the other one open for now. I'm going to create a new layer and paste it in. I'm going to just grab any of the colors from here just to fill the base color in the back. Shift F5 will fill the layer with either your foreground color, background color, or pattern, or whatever you want. Just fill it. Let's clean up this mesh a little bit so we can actually use it. Use the lasso tool, or whatever tool you want. I just want to cut out the hair. Just keep the eye area. Control Shift I will invert the selection. Don't go Control I, it will just invert your whole thing. Okay. So for example, if I go Control I, it will make it blue. And now I'm going to use my little erase tool. Set it to, I don't want the hardness to, my driver's entirely appropriate. So excuse me, maybe I just need to. Okay, sorry, I cannot work without driver. Screw. I will not use a wacom. It's just going to aggravate me. Because I'm not going to restart the machine now. It'll be a lot quicker, but right now I'm not going to be too concerned with it. I'm going to open up the recent file, which should generally be my raw file. And now I'm just going to Now let's start erasing around it. Grab your erase tool, right click. Don't make it hard, just make it soft. Because you want it to soften out the edges so you don't see the connection between different multiple textures. And now we're going to Control T to transform the layer. Let's go Control plus and minus to go in and out. Let's just try to fit it in there. I'm not going to worry about I'm going to get rid of all these little eyelashes because I don't need that in the texture. And I don't need the eyebrows because I'm going to actually have real hair for it. I'm going to leave it for now because I'm going to have to add the forehead. But one thing I might want to do is get rid of the eyelashes. So we're going to zoom in. There's multiple ways to get rid of it. The first one is cloning. There's your clone tool. There's clone and pattern stamp. Cloning is it's okay. It's not the greatest way of removing something out, but it works. I don't prefer that method. I prefer to heal it. It looks like a little plaster. Hold it down, select the healing tool. Alt is where you want to take the texture from. So if you say I want to take the texture from there, hold Alt and left click, and then start painting it. Okay. Keep adjusting it. Remove some of the highlights. I don't like highlights on my texture because it's fake. It makes it look CG. The highlights will come from your shader. Just start cleaning up the hair. You can bring it from the bottom up, whatever works for you. Just start cleaning it up. Just in case you want a little bit of background, I got very good at cloning when I was working at Beyond It, or IT, depending how you want to say it. Cloning out people's red eye and all that crap in their photos. You do anything for money. There we go. Hold Alt and drag select will duplicate that layer. Okay. Then you just go to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. Bring your guides back on, then you know where to place it. There we go. And then you go Control E to make it into one layer to merge down. We can call it Real Skin. If your character is cartoony, you are very lucky because it's just simple, flat colors with painting in some red for blush areas, for some freckles. You just create a splatter brush. Let's go and open up textures at last. I'm going to grab the forehead next. Rotate it, go image rotation, 90-degree counterclockwise is fine. Control A, Control C. Control A selects all. Control C copies, Control V pastes. Just in case you didn't know, you do now. Okay. And it works for every program. Control T is to transform, or you can go to Edit Tools and you can do it that way. If you want to be slow, you can. I will use shortcuts as much as possible. Just trying to bring in this, trying to scale it so we can keep it. There you go, that should be fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm not trying to line up nose and everything. I'm going to duplicate this layer because I'm going to use it for quite a lot. I'm going to use it for the nose, the cheek, and the lips. So I'm going to duplicate it twice already. And then we're going to start getting rid of the forehead. Lasso tool again. Control I to invert selection, and delete is backspace. And once again, start erasing. Okay, this time the brush is a little too big. And just start getting rid of what you don't want. Just start bringing it down. Start holding Alt to duplicate. Start erasing what you don't want. Just start creating that forehead. Control E will merge down. Just hold Alt to drag, select, and just rotate it across. Now I'm just going to flip horizontally again. Bring it over. Here's a few issues with doing it this way. Is that you perfectly get this. Control. You will get it won't be perfectly nice in the middle, and you get these little blemishes that are perfect on both sides. Just take your healing brush. Fix anything that looks too obvious. Just hold Alt and try to drag along the little crease, and you will get it to follow through. Okay. It'll be a lot easier with the Wacom, but I can't get picky right now. I'm going to get rid of one of these, some of those. This is all I'm doing now is building the base skin color to work on. It's better than having nothing to start off with. If you want to see what it's looking like, just go save as. Before I do that, I just want to clean up these eyebrows. I don't need them. I'm going to just remove the ugly things I don't want. Press Control E to merge down, and I'm going to paint them out. Once again, healing brush. What Photoshop might need is a mirror tool. But it's fine. It makes it look more natural because unfortunately nothing's natural in your face. Nothing's perfectly symmetrical. So even if it looks a little bit wrong, it will look right when you render it. And just get rid of it. The problem with too many blemishes is that it makes things look a little bit too fake. Like this blemish on both sides, just get rid of one. Okay, let's go see what it looks like. Save it. I'm going to load it into Max. So go back to your material. Under your diffuse, click and just go grab your bitmap. Just grab the raw one. It'll ask you if you want to bring in layers or flat collapsed. Just bring it collapsed. Just give it a while. It will take a while to load any time, and it might take a lot longer if it's a couple of gigs big. There we go. Now we're starting to flesh out the face, and you keep going. Once again, let's bring in the one that we duplicated. I'm going to bring in. I like these little creases on the eyebrow. I mean, on the eyelid. So I'm going to literally grab that. Only that. Control I and delete. I'm going to place that where I want it. Bring the guides back in so you know what you're actually placing. The guides are there so you know where your contours lie on your model. It's easier than trying to guess. Just reshape it a little bit. And now, I still think it's a little bit too far up. And I'm going to scale it wider so we can just get these creases running nicely. And before I do anything else, I'm going to quickly save it to see if it's placed correctly in Max before I start cleaning it up. Yep, quite good. Except I think I need to move it slightly over. And now we can clean it up. Take your erase tool, make the brush smaller. Right click will give you the options of your, or you can just use the shortcuts. Let me just not worry about worrying with shortcuts for now. Let's just try to get Photoshop down. You can do this in Mudbox, you can do this in ZBrush if you want. Let's duplicate this entire mesh again. Mesh layer, and let's flip horizontally and place it. As you can see, there's quite a lot of dirt in this layer, so we're going to have to clean it up. Easiest way to spot the dirt is just to turn everything else off. You can see the dirt around it. Clean it. I'm going to merge it down into one layer and do that one right now. Let's clean up what I don't want. Just start cleaning it up. If you're using your Wacom, the back end is an eraser. Just in case, so you can just flip it over and erase as if you're really drawing. There we go. And now we can start bringing in the cheekbones. I'm going to duplicate this again because I actually want the corner of the eyepiece is quite nice, so I'm going to use that. Just hide everything else. Let's bring that little corner piece. The problem with this is I'm going to fix it in its high res. You can't have highlights on any of your textures. It will break the illusion of reality. The same as these highlights are cool. Kill them unless you're doing a gaming. Even gaming nowadays you can do specular. Okay, unless you're doing it for Unity, then you can't do anything. But you can think you're making a game. So let's go and use the healing brush. Once again, just make it smaller. Too big. And then you go and hold Alt in the area you want to source texture from. Just it's very fine, so there's ways you can actually use a paintbrush to add in that color, whatever works for you. It's such a small area you could probably just paint pink in it and no one would know anything else. Now I'm going to grab the whole little area, Control I to invert selection again and get rid of everything else we don't want. Bring the guides back. And we're going to put it in that little corner right over there. Bring it down, over, stretch it a little bit to fit. After I've laid this out, it'll probably take 3-4 hours to lay out the whole head. And then I will literally sit there and then start bringing in my ZBrush details and start working all of that into the skin shape. I don't like to get distracted. I do one thing at a time if I can. And I'm going to duplicate it, flip it horizontally, bring it to the other corner. There we go. And now I'm going to collapse everything. So I'm just going to go from top layer, hold shift, bottom layer, control E. And now we're going to do the nose. I'm going to duplicate this layer again, just in case there's parts of it I can use again. It's actually one of the highest res images I have, so I'm going to use it for almost everything. And now we're just going to grab the nose area. And literally, I'm going to grab this whole area here for now. Then we can tweak it. Grab the chin. Control I and delete what you don't see. And just erase around the area, outer edges. Try to get a decent sized brush. And now we scale it down and get it to fit. This one, just try to place the nose. Don't worry about the rest too much because we're going to use the same texture over and over. I mean, the same method of doing it over and over. That's not too bad. Okay, this way I can act easily. I'm gonna have to, in essence, what you call it, paint out the lips because I don't want the lips on this part of the face. So, but for now, let's just get both halves going. So let's erase this eye. First of all, it's distracting and it should not be there. Okay, and now I'm gonna hold Alt to duplicate it. Now we're gonna go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. Bring it to the other side. Control E to merge it down. And now we've got the obvious mistakes of blemishes are perfect on both sides, and he's got nostrils. So grab the healing brush, get it to a decent size again. That's a little bit too small. Don't try to dab too much. Rather find a decent sized brush. First of all, let's get rid of the highlights on the nose. Okay. Get rid of some of the blemishes. It's just too much. Just start painting it out. Source, always Alt and Source. I'm going to keep this one on this side. Get rid of the other one. And get rid of bye-bye. Get rid of you. Let's keep you. Get rid of you. And just go through it and see what else can make it look blatantly obvious that it's the same texture on both sides. Now I'm going to merge it down again. In this case, you can keep merging the layers down. It's not the end of the world because you're going to be layering it over and over and over. I'm going to get rid of all this shading because you don't need that shading. You've actually got model detail. And just bring some of this hair back in. Okay, let's see what it looks like. So we go back to max. Just give it a chance to catch up. This is once again a Photoshop file. Okay, this part of the lip is too far down. You can see, so we're just going to have to fix that. So let's go and literally clone out the lips or use another piece of the skin to cover it. I'm going to literally grab this whole mesh that I've got at the bottom, bring it up to where I want it to be, start erasing just the edges around so it can blend in quite nicely. I'm just going to get rid of everything. Actually, I'm going to select the whole area over here because all I want to do is keep this area over here. Control I, and just delete. Make sure that there's, as you can see, there's this funny little seam connection area. Just blend it out into the actual mesh. See if there's anything else. And now I'm going to paint out those lips. It doesn't have to be perfect, you just have to get these edges working out. Because you're going to have the lips separately on the mesh above it. So it's just about cleaning up and making it look decent. If you want, you can grab a piece of skin there, put it, whatever works for you. There is no right or wrong to texturing. It's whatever the end result looks like. Now that's fine. Let's see what it looks like. Max again. Just give it a chance to catch up once again. We're going to get rid of, you can see that shading over here from the chin. We need to get rid of that. That's just very bad. So let's go and pick up a decent sized brush. Healing brush, just give it a decent size. Let's just get rid of all that shading we don't need. Be careful you don't heal outside of the area because it will just try to heal even the alpha. That's what makes it so powerful. I'm just trying to get rid of it. Let's go do the lips now. Let's duplicate this layer again. I'll just keep duplicating it until right at the end. If I don't need it, I'll get rid of it. Let's grab the lips. Control I. Delete. Bring your guides back in again. And bring the lips where it is up here. And let's, this time we need to get a little bit more, a little tighter. So let's just, we're going to only do one half. And then flip it and do the other half. Wrong way. Control Shift I. Okay. Yes. If you don't invert selection, you'll by mistake just delete the selection. Like I did. There we go. Now we're going to use the top half. Let's scale it up. I might actually just get rid of this and bring it back in again because this is too scaled down for the actual result. So let's bring that one. See. Just go around the lips. I'd rather have it a little bit bigger than too small. You will have to clone this in to get it to look decent. And now we're done. Let's just, now the coolest tool is the transform warp tool. That allows you to shape it. So if you wanted to really literally shape it to the lips, you can. So let's bring this one down. So we can stay there. We can just start shaping it, bring these in. It uses Bezier handles, so you'll get the hang of it. And I'm just going to erase this ugly thing in the middle, the shading. Do not need shading. Once again, healing brush. Start from the top. That might be a bit too big of a brush. That's better. And just paint it directly down, so you can get the lines sort of running. Okay, it doesn't have to be 100% because you're going to tweak this a lot. All you're trying to do is flesh it, literally flesh out the lips. Save it again. Let's see what it looks like. Just give it a chance. Need the lips need to go a little bit all the way to the end. Oh, it's because of the other side. Let's just quickly duplicate it. Flip it horizontally. And bring it in. And I'm going to just literally erase what we don't want. And let it blend into each other. And Control E to go down, and let's make it flat. I think that's where I'm going to start. Because otherwise I can be here all day. Okay. And that's why you unwrap it so you can see what's going on in your head, and you can just have it flatten out. And then what you do is I'm going to quickly just show you, let's save a bump map. The reason why I don't do pause and everything in Mudbox or ZBrush, because it's just too time consuming, and I can do it in texture. So if I save this as a bump, for example, and I go open the bump texture, make sure bumps are black and white. Here's the downside to having a bump, is that unfortunately these moles should be coming out at you, and at the moment because they're black they'll be going in. But we can't invert this image because we need those moles to come out, so you just have to go and carefully create a new layer and paint them in with a preferably a color that's not skin color. Even if it's just a subtle gray, it's better than sitting there on black. Just paint over it. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. Just give the illusion that it's actually coming out. The color layer is not actually that hard to do compared to doing something like the specular and the glossy layer, which makes it look shiny lipstick or oily skin. And now all I'm going to do is slightly blur it, Gaussian blur, and the filters. And now I'm going to tone it down. So go to your opacity and just tone it down. There we go. Flatten it. And save. And now we're going to do a bump in it. So we're going to grab this. Nothing special. I haven't run through a skin shader yet. What skin shader does is subsurface scattering. I haven't run through any of that yet because let's leave that for when we actually have a final skin shader. I'm going to go to maps and turn off diffuse, put on bump. I'm going to grab my bump layer. It's not a normal map, so it's just a bump layer. Grab it. Let me just assign it so you can see what it looks like. It's just a black and white map. But it gives you the illusion that there is poor detail. It really isn't. But it gives you the illusion there's poor detail. You might just have to control the intensity because at the moment it's set to 20, maybe set it down to 10. All you need is subtlety. and then you turn on your diffuse color. You've got the combination of a bit of bump, and this is just simple with no lighting in the scene, and it's already coming along quite nice. And then you'll cover the whole head that way, and then eventually paint out your seams, which will be one at the bottom here, and the one in your head over here.